setting up. Might be live, might not. Nobody knows. Here we go. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. Hey, everybody. Today we are here as a marketing team, and we are talking about Zoom etiquette. So,
Indeed.
where to begin?
Well,
we can start with ink, like background noise, and how to handle that.
Yeah, so why we would start with ink is shortly before we went live, I sent a message saying, apologies, mailman is trying to kill us all, ink, because my dog was attempting to alert me that someone was delivering a package for nefarious reasons. So muting when there's background noise. How significant do you think the background noise has to be for you to need to mute yourself? Does it need to be like terrier barking bloody murder, or like just someone mowing their lawn in the nearby vicinity? Like,
I think if it's enough to like really cause like you to turn your head, like if I was like if someone knocked on my door and I like turned my head to look over or something, I think that's enough to like if there's an ambulance in the background, maybe not. But speaking of ink.
Yep. He says,
nice.
You are safe from the mailman. I made sure.
He heard his name.
That's so cute.
He's a sweet
I was
dog.
trying to find some background noises to play to see where we draw the line. And they have office noises when working from home feels too quiet.
Oh my goodness.
Part of me thinks that's silly, but I have definitely played like a 10-hour coffee shop bin live stream on YouTube.
Fireplace live streams, those are good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great.
Yeah. Are you gonna play, Chris?
That just sounds like
just like static.
Yeah.
It's just like static.
Like really low budget white noise. More than
Zoom has made me forget what Office even sounds like. What is like staplers, fax machine.
Staplers?
Maybe like
how often are people stapling?
I just imagine in offices people are just stapling constantly.
Yeah.
It just seems like an office thing.
It does.
And pencils and pens, like scratching.
Yeah, clicking. Coffee machines. Like bzz. Light chatter. Light chit chat. Printers. See, that's loud enough that I would maybe need to turn it off.
Yep. Have you ever had a tornado siren come on while you were on a Zoom?
No.
I have not.
I'm like waiting for the day that the first Tuesday of the month happens to happen. When actually,
yeah, we're supposed to do it at noon, I think. So you
should do it Friday at noon.
Noon here, yeah.
Yeah,
so you
every
should
Friday.
Sales hour.
I don't know what it was here. I know growing up it was Tuesday mornings.
Was it every week?
It was every month.
Ours is every week. I hear it every week. I hear it once a week, Friday at noon.
I don't think they even do it once a month here. That or I'm really going deaf.
It actually is kind of convenient because like you know the exact time when you hear it. If you're outside and you hear it, you're like, oh, it's noon, Friday.
There you go. Yeah, it might just be that we're further because growing up, I lived really, really close to a siren. Like it was basically on the same street as me. And here, I don't think we're that close.
Yeah. Yeah, different distance.
Let's see.
What's some good other etiquette?
I think that leaving room for people to talk is really important.
Yes.
Like, because when everyone's talking at once, then no one can hear anything. So just kind of making sure you leave that space for people to interject.
I definitely agree. Or what Chris is doing right now.
Eating is terrible etiquette. Don't do that.
Eating is really bad Zoom etiquette.
So
like,
if it's like soup or pasta and you're unmuted, you're just like.
Or if you're drinking water, don't slurp. Like.
No, don't do that.
And whatever you do, don't eat carrots.
Don't eat crunchy food. Don't eat chips. Don't eat carrots. Don't eat cereal. My friends get mad at me because I eat cereal like really loud apparently. And I eat it like at nights. So like we'll be watching a movie and it'll be quiet and I'll just be like. So
Yeah.
You can hear me slurping. Sarah
yeah.
is on our live. Oh, that's trippy.
Quinn, what are you eating?
I guess if you're on wait, is this against Zoom etiquette to be watching?
I don't know that we've discovered a rule on that yet. I don't know that it's necessary.
Yeah, you're in uncharted
Kinda meta.
waters.
I know
That is meta.
something I try to do as far as muting goes is I try to mute myself when I type because I know that I'm a very loud typer.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
Yeah.
like there's an earthquake sometimes. So gotta push that mute button.
Yeah, I have a vivid memory of back in high school. We were all writing an essay in English class senior year, and I had to leave the room and go to the hallway because I couldn't stand the sound of everyone typing. I couldn't focus. Like, just couldn't.
Yeah, you should also always like ask for permission. Like when you share your screen, don't just like share your screen without telling anyone that you're sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Like, don't do this. You know, it's just rude.
Oh no.
Oh wow. That was a heck of a funhouse mirror experience.
That was trippy. Hey Sarah.
Everyone says hello. You're on Facebook Live. Do you remember when we did helium on the street?
Hi.
Hey.
I'm wearing a mask because I care about everybody. So.
That's not part of Zoom etiquette. You don't need to be wearing a
No,
mask
you
on
gotta
Zoom.
wear a mask on Zoom.
It doesn't even make sense.
Oh, sorry, let me. Yeah, the germs transmit over the computer.
I will say the whole mask ascot type thing you've got going on is very smart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because otherwise I just forget it.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten halfway to the grocery store and then gone, dang it.
I've washed it. Like I'll keep it in my back pocket and wash the pants.
I'm
This
kind
thing in there.
I'm kind of curious if this is going to make things like infinity scarves that could be really good impromptu masks kind of become trendy, like bandanas in the hair, things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to become a trend, a fashion trend. It kind of already is.
Yeah.
Like people getting like decor masks and stuff, or like personalized masks.
Pandemic fashion.
That is a good
I think we might have done
article.
a piece on that.
We did
I
a
was gonna
piece
say that's a great
on-
piece.
We did a piece comparing masks to hair ties. How masks are the new hair ties. They're everywhere, but then you somehow never have one when you need one.
Yep.
Well, speaking of bad etiquette, I need to go. I have class. Well, that's good etiquette to tell you that when you're leaving. Okay, etiquette tip now. When you
Okay,
leave
so
a
the
Zoom call,
bad tip would be if I were like, "Hey Connor, what's your favorite color?"
I thought you were gonna do it. I thought you were really just gonna dip.
I wasn't gonna dip because
Go ahead.
we had to elaborate. We had to
You gotta do it
elaborate.
for the lulz. You gotta do it for
Yeah.
the lulz. All right,
What an
Connor.
actual thing. What you should actually do is you should say, "I'm leaving the meeting now. Goodbye."
Very nice.
Yes.
That is important though, because like I could totally see it getting really irritating really quickly if you keep accidentally talking to empty Zoom rooms, especially if people already have their video off. Like in situations like this, like I can see you both. So when Connor drops off, the camera's gone. I can visually see that. But if everyone's video is off, it might not be as noticeable.
Yeah, it definitely makes it more difficult.
For sure.
So some other Zoom etiquette.
When to use Zoom chat versus something like Slack or Voxer. Oh, or emoticons. That's a great one too.
Almost never, I would say, using Zoom chat. Like the time, okay, so if you're talking to someone outside of your organization, then Zoom chat is appropriate. But if you're talking to someone inside your organization and you need to refer to whatever it is that you're putting in the like chat later, then you should always use Slack.
Yeah, I think that Zoom chat is really helpful for things like the reason I was muted when Ink was losing his little puppy mind. Would be like that, where like it's not important to refer back to, it's not urgent, it's just kind of a like, hey, be right back, gotta handle something.
Well, it is urgent, just not important.
I mean, it's urgent to try to quiet him down. I don't
No,
know.
I mean, if it's urgent to warn your fellow colleagues, you'd use the Zoom chat
Mm.
instead of Slack. Because it's also kind of rude to like just be on Slack the entire time you're on Zoom.
Yeah. Yep. And that gets back into the Slack notifications conversation that we were having last week.
Mm.
Were you going to say something about the thumbs up thing in the corner of your screen?
Oh yeah, we've rarely ever used these, but we use them when I'm like, all right, when there's too many people on the call, I'm like, put the thumbs up if you heard what I said. Make sure that people are listening, because we do have a ton of people on Zoom calls, and sometimes like everyone has their camera and mic off.
Yep.
So it's good to use those to make sure that people are paying attention.
And to avoid the scenario where everyone's talking at once.
Yeah.
The worst is when like 2 or 3 people all have a lag, but they all have a different lag.
Yeah.
Like everyone's trying to leave the gap, but it's just not quite long enough to compensate for someone's slow internet.
Mhm. Yeah, you think you're hearing a gap, but it's just a lag. So then you start talking and then someone else had already started talking.
I hate that. I just like, I don't mind when people do that to me. I usually just kind of try to pay attention. But when I do that to other people, I'm like, I swear, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm so sorry.
You're like, I thought you stopped talking.
Someone's just streaming a video in the other room. I'm really sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, and even like when the delay is really bad, and like one person's like, you go, at the very same millisecond that the other person
Yeah.
says, okay, you go, and then it's just like, reminds me of that joke that I made up that was like, 4 Midwesterners stop at a 4-way stop all at the exact same moment, and they're still there today, and that's been years ago. Their friends and family bring them food and supplies.
Okay, quick note on 4-way stops. Is it just me, or does every county have one 4-way stop that no one seems to understand how to get through properly? Like, I feel like every town I've ever lived in has had one 4-way stop where just people will plan their routes to go around it because no one seems to understand how to get everyone through the intersection in one piece and in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, we had one like that, but then they just put a light there.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
I learned to drive in Los Angeles. It's just a fight to the death. They don't care when you got to the stop sign. They're going first.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And the Boston rules were really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it was, or if my friend was just messing with me, but appeared to be true was like, if you're at a 4-way stop and I look at you and I notice that you were already looking at me before I looked at you, then it's your turn. But if I was looking at you and then you looked at me and you noticed that I was looking at you before you were looking at me, it's my turn, regardless of who stopped first. And I do remember one time being at like a 2-way stop, and like I was at the 2-way stop, and then there was like oncoming traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like was just spacing out and just kind of like staring at the ongoing traffic, and someone like stopped and looked really pissed and was like, well, go, you're gonna stare at me, then go. Like, okay.
Have you ever had it happen where this happens all the time when I'm walking Ank, where you'll be like out with a dog and people in cars try to wave you on to cross the street because they think they're being helpful, but you're going from a street with sidewalk to a street with no sidewalk. So like you're actually way more likely to get hit if you go first. Too hyper specific, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know that I've ever crossed to a street that doesn't have a sidewalk.
Oh, that is weird to think about. You've never lived somewhere where there are just like a bunch of streets that don't have sidewalks on them?
No. I don't think so. Like nothing comes to mind. Like where is that? Why isn't there a sidewalk?
Not
like
downtown.
or 90% of the country.
I've only ever lived in Los Angeles and downtown Chicago.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, especially It's not as bad now, but one of the places I lived after getting ink, there just were a bunch of like intersecting streets with and without sidewalks. And I was like, I don't want to cross. I want there to be no cars here when I cross. I have a dog that is this tall. Like, please, actually, you go first.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess right of way in Slack world, or wait, Zoom world, we did Slack last week. The right of way in Zoom is whoever is hosting.
Mhm.
Unless someone else is screen sharing.
Mhm.
I think then the screen sharer probably gets right of way.
Hmm.
Yeah, like if someone's leading some kind of a discussion.
Hmm. What if someone's sharing a note screen?
Hmm,
Then it's different.
that's true.
I'd say it's whoever's leading the discussion.
I don't know, because maybe even if you're sharing a note screen, if you like aren't able to keep up with the discussion, I feel like you still kind of get that veto power to be like, hey, can the conversation like stop for 30 seconds and let me catch up?
Yeah, I agree with that.
We should have you know, like how they have talking sticks or like camps.
Mhm. Yeah.
Have a talking stick. It would be a cucumber. But it'd be a mess because it's remote, so everyone would have one. So
Everyone would raise at the same time.
everyone would raise their cucumber, and we'd all be like, well, this didn't work. Terrible idea. And so then everyone just starts talking at the same time. It's like a nut house. I think probably one of the most interesting things that our Zoom etiquette has included is like, I remember there was a tweet that you shared, Sarah, that was like, when there needs to be a button on Zoom.
Oh, that play
Like,
like the Oscars play out music or something like that. Yeah.
so to let everyone know that the Zoom is over. So that way it ends on time. And so after you posted that, I mean, as you all know, Connor and I took that as a challenge to produce that video.
I'm so glad you did.
Hmm.
I think that it would be appropriate to show the world and maybe end this Facebook Live session.
I think that sounds perfect.
Hmm.
Good way to end the Zoom on Facebook.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
everyone. This is what we show everyone. Well, this is one version. We have multiple versions, but this is what we show everyone when we end. I'm hoping, I don't even remember all what's in here, but it's perfect. It's supposed to be terrible, so just keep that in mind. But just imagine the Zoom call won't end, like I won't shut up or whatever, and then someone can just be like,